Hello, third grade. This is Miss Keeley here. Um, First, I want to start out by telling you guys and letting you know that you all did a really, really nice job on your Jersey project. I know that this is really strange having to learn from home, and it's also really hard with all the work coming in from your different teachers. So I was really excited to see how your projects came out and that you were able to get some art in. Okay. So that project is finished. We were able to focus on pattern, able to get that project in, and now we're going to move on to symmetry, okay? Some of you as third graders have probably heard the word symmetry before, but if not, I'm going to explain it a little bit to you. Um, so you might have also heard people say symmetrical. So when you hear that word symmetry or symmetrical, um, they're referring to something being the same on both sides. So if you take a look at all these different shapes and pictures here on this screen, all of them have a dotted or dashed line going through the middle of them. Um, that's called a line of symmetry. And on both sides of that line of symmetry um, are now two halves, and they are exactly the same. Okay, so symmetry, you can think symmetry means same. They are the same on both sides. Batman's logo, if you were to fold this in half, it would match up perfectly. They look the exact same on both sides. Okay, same with a butterfly, their wings, they look the same on both sides. All right, if we move over into this one, um, there's something called asymmetrical. So opposite of symmetrical, asymmetrical is when things are not the same on both sides. So there's some examples here. If we focus on the rabbit, if we were to draw a line through the middle of this rabbit, it is not the same on both sides. This side has the head and the ears. This side is just an empty space and it's the tail and back of the rabbit. Okay, so that would be asymmetrical, not the same. And then over here, I'm going to attach this PowerPoint to your Google Classroom assignments. You can actually open it and look at it. But so here are some famous artwork that some of you have seen before, maybe you have not. And some of them are showing symmetry, and some of them are not, they're asymmetrical. So if you want, you can kind of look at them and try to figure out on your own what ones are symmetrical and not symmetrical. All right. And so now we're going to move into your steps today for your project. This project is going to take three three different videos. So I'm sending out one video per week, one little assignment of the step of the project per week. So this will take three different steps, so about 3 weeks, which I know seems like a really long time, but I don't want to give you guys too much work. Okay? So all you need for today's step is a blank piece of white paper and a pencil. All right? And so I'm going to press play. And first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to put my name and class code just like normal. And then I'm going to fold my paper in half to create that line of symmetry. Um, I, I didn't really tell you what we're drawing, but we're going to draw a tiger head. Um, this is a project that I have done before, and I wish that we could be in class so I could help you guys with it, but I'm really confident in how you guys have been this year that you will be able to do it. So, um, so I folded my paper, and so that middle crease, I know you can't see it on my screen, but you will be able to see it on your paper. That's going to be our line of symmetry. So it will create two halves of our paper. So whatever I draw on one side, you're going to need, it needs to look the same on both sides. And then you can follow along. I'm going to explain step by step, or you can draw your tiger head your own way. My biggest advice, though, is to draw big and fill up the space of your paper. You don't want this tiny little tiger head just floating in the middle of your paper. That's going to look really strange, and you're not going to really have enough space to color it and add all the fun things that we're going to do. So you want to draw big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with drawing the nose, and I'm drawing it kind of towards the bottom of my paper. It would be about 3 fingers from the bottom up, and it's kind of like a rounded triangle shape. Again, if you want to draw your nose a different way, go for it. Um, and I'm drawing lightly so that way I can erase things, but you can see it's about 3 fingers up from the bottom, and it's split right in half from that line of symmetry, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is just kind of measure out where the top of the head should be. It would be about maybe a finger and a half from the top, and I just put a little line there because I'm trying to think about how I want to kind of plan this out. And I'm thinking that the next step would be the like snout of the lion, like the nose area. So I'm essentially just creating kind of like a W shape to create that nose area, like the upper lip of the tiger. And it's kind of like a W that kind of goes up. And then we're going to draw the mouth slash chin area that's coming out from the bottom of that W mouth shape. And then I added just a little zigzag line for some details to make it look like fur. So that little area down here would be like the chin. Okay. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to actually work on the shape of the head. Um, a tiger shape um, is a little bit more wider than a human head. It's um, it's a little bit more on the wider side. And so you can add some detail in it like I did. I added some fur by adding some zigzag lines, and I just drew it over one side connecting down to that bottom chin area, and then the same thing on the other side. I will say it is a little bit hard to get the zigzag line matching exactly, so draw lightly because you might need to go back and adjust and erase. Or maybe you like the way it looks. Obviously, you can kind of keep going with whatever you um, feel with your project. But so I wanted to kind of redo it. Also, it's important that you leave space up here for the ears of your tiger. If you don't leave a lot of space, then you're going to have really tiny ears and it's not going to look proportional to your animal. So again, you can kind of draw your ears however you want. That was kind of what I went with. Just it kind of goes up to a point and then widens back out. I'm going to fast forward it a little bit, just adjusting them. If you want to add little hairs to them, you go for it. Um, whatever works for you. So then the next part is adding um, just some stripes towards the top, and I'm making sure that they look the same. And so I start with kind of like almost like if you've ever made a bird flying in the sky, it's kind of like a little bump M shape. So I made 3 of them, one that's really big, medium, small, and then I'm going to focus on my eyes. I always say this to you guys, if you ever have certain ways that you like to draw your eyes, go for it. Draw them that way. The only thing that you need to remember on this one is that they should look the same on both sides, okay? So if you want to draw yours like mine, I'll explain it, but if you want to draw yours the way you like it, you can just fast forward through this. So I always start with 2 circles, um, and then I will be drawing kind of like the upper eyelid, and it's almost like the top of a curved football. And then I'm going to focus on connecting that upper eyelid back down to our W shape with the nose. So I'm continuing that line, connecting them, and that's going to really make it look like a tiger. It does look a little bit like a bear right now, but once we add more details, it will really stand out as a tiger. So then I'm going back to my eye and I'm drawing kind of like an oval shape inside that circle I drew. And I'm trying to make mine look really cat-like, so I'm trying to give it, if you've ever heard like cat-like eyes before, they have a lot of oval shapes. Um, I'm adding my highlight in the eye to make it really look alive, so just little circles kind of off to the side, and then I'm shading in around that area black. Okay, and again, I kept it an oval shape to give it that cat eyes. If you want, you could make yours round, or again, you can kind of create yours how you want. And so then I'm just going to kind of adjust my eyes, kind of make them the same. I'm going to draw the bottom lid that connects up. Whenever I think of like a cat or tigers, I always think of these like pointed, almost diamond-like eyes. So they go off into points. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. If you want to add eyelashes or anything like that, you can obviously. And then so the next this is one of our last couple steps is adding some extra detail. So I added some stripes. You could have straight lines or zigzag or wavy lines. I went with zigzag And whatever I drew on one side, I tried my best to make it look the same on the other. Okay, so I had 3 zigzag lines. I put zigzag lines in the ears. And then the nose, I just went in and I adjusted, gave it some nostrils. I added some teeth. Maybe you add a tongue. Maybe you add it eating something, just as long as it looks the same on both sides. And then this is an important detail to add, are these little dots around the nose. That's going to make it really start to look like a tiger, or like a big cat, rather than a bear or just any other animal. And then the whiskers. So I add 3 on one side going out and 3 on the other. Okay. And then that's it. So this step of this project kind of took a while. My video's at 10 minutes right now. So maybe you work on this video for 5 minutes one day, put it down, and then the next day you pick it up and work 5 more minutes on it. All right. And obviously you can work longer than how much, obviously you can work longer than 10 minutes if you want to, but that's on you. I am trying to keep this kind of simple for you guys so you're not being too overwhelmed with work. All right. So that's all you should be doing in this step. I didn't add anything else. I didn't add color. I didn't add any dark lines. It's just a pencil drawing. Okay. So yours should look like that. And then next week I'll send you the next step. You do not need to send me your pictures of your projects until the very end of the project. So once we're all finished after the 3 weeks, and I'll include that you can send me a picture. The reason is because I know you guys are overwhelmed and it's a little bit tricky to send me a picture. So I don't need to see one until the very end of the project. Of course, if you do want to send me a picture, I would love to look at it. I have been trying to share things on the Northwood Twitter account, just so that everyone can see that you are still doing awesome work at home. So if you do want to send me some, let me know and feel free to send them. All right. So have fun with this and I will chat with you guys next week. Bye.